So hello everybody, we are now in our newly installed vestibule. You'll notice that when you're in the A-wing is no longer open. When you walk in, you will be buzzed in on the right side of the vestibule to get into the main office, and from there we would have you sign in as a guest, but this will be a two-way hallway, but it will be closed off to the majority of our traffic. So I know that we just walked in. I do have a mask on. All students will be, and staff, visitors will be wearing their masks. But for the duration of this video, I will be taking the mask off in order for you to clearly hear me throughout. So at this point, I will be using the A-wing doors to get through. We are still in the vestibule, so I will have Linda Salome buzz us in for us to be able to see a classroom. Our A-wing will be closed to all students. So I know typically our seniors for senior priv would be buzzed in through the main door entrance. That door alone will be for our staff members. If we do have visitors that are coming into the building, they can use that office or that entrance as well. So as you can see, we do have stickers and placemats on the floor. A-wing, you'll see as we go through, it will have limited traffic flow, and you'll notice that A-wing has a traffic pattern for students to come back and forth. We have two areas of the building where there's two-way traffic, A-wing, and then we will also look at C-wing for people to get through. But you'll see that we do have arrows 6 feet across, or 6 feet separated, so that it's just a friendly reminder that we do want to be socially distant and not be close to one another. In terms of changes in the A-wing, our main office is still where it is. Our counseling wing is still in the same location, and our central office staff with our business managers, our superintendent, assistant superintendent, they all have moved into different locations in order for us to be able to put a full nursing wing that includes an isolation room for any COVID-19 related symptoms and cases, and as well as another larger area for students that are just not feeling well. These areas do need to abide by social distancing measures, so we are not going to be able to house more than 2 or 3 students at a time. So we will be talking about specifics in terms of any students that need to do a check-in with guidance or go down to the nurse. We will be following some strict guidelines in terms of communicating from a student to a staff member, and then our teacher in the classroom, and to a teacher to a counselor or a nurse in the building to make sure that it is okay to come up. So you will notice that we do have several new entry and exit points to the building. We have minimized lots, but we also added a newer security feature where students that are getting dropped off in the morning by their parents will be coming to the back lot near the tennis courts. There will be signs for that. Traffic will be directed the first couple of weeks of school, but essentially parents will be coming down the main drive to the building, come back into the back parking lot. This will be a completely empty lot. No one will be parking back here, so students need to be aware of that. Seniors and juniors, you'll be using a different lot. Parents will drop off right at this pathway that we will be walking down in a minute. And we have been lucky enough and got approval to be able to use our access gate, access road that is to the right of me, and they will be going out to Blackstone Street. So in terms of a scenario, I'm a student. My mom just dropped me off at school, just dropped me off here. She is proceeding down. This is a one-way. We're not turning around and going out the main entrance. She's using the access road to get down to Blackstone Street. Me, as a student playing this role, I'm now walking up towards the courtyard, and I will be going over to the C-wing door. This is the lower C-wing door, so that I can go through the building and into the classrooms that I need to. So I walked up the pathway. I am at the entryway to the courtyard. I'm taking a right. This is door 21. And a few just reminders in terms of entering the campus or our building. We do want to make sure that all students are wearing masks, that parents and families have
reviewed the guidelines in terms of some of the symptoms for COVID. So if you are sick, we are asking that families and students are staying home, and that you inform our nurse that that is happening. And just a few things in terms of just making sure that you're washing your hands, and that you are practicing all the safety precautions that we need to, because we have to do this together in order to do this right. So once again, we are in the C wing. These are for students. This is the traffic flow for students that did get dropped off by parents. They will go down towards C wing, and then we need to think about what is your first period, and we would just be going right to our first period A block class. Now, scenario here, I have my English class that was in Mrs. Roberge's room in B201. I'm proceeding down the hallway. I'm taking a left down lower B. I'm going up the stairwell. I'm taking a left to now go into upper B wing, and that's where I can get into my English class. This is our field entrance that are close to the soccer fields. This is where all students that are coming to the building that are parking their cars will be parking, and we will be using the door that typically students will be using to go to a basketball or a volleyball game. We're not using the door to the side where our music and auditorium is. We're not going to the main entryway. Seniors, again, do not have that privilege to be able to use the main entrance. Any students, once again, that are parked or coming onto campus will be parking in this side lot, and we'll be walking through these doors. And now we are at one of the stairwells that it's close to the fitness rooms and so forth. Students will be going up the stairs, going up to upper C. Students will, at this point, not be going into the cafeteria. We will be talking about how breakfast will be served to our students, and students will not be going through the courtyard to the other side to get to lower C. In order to minimize traffic flow, we are asking that students that get or have that privilege to park their car, come on campus, to go up the stairs up to C wing and to proceed down through that two-way C wing corridor. We feel confident that all of our students can eat lunch in the cafeteria. I know students that will be in line getting food will be socially distant from one another. There is a pickup option. No longer will we have a salad sort of bar for folks to be able to do that. We are trying to be as safe as possible, and students will be getting a pre-packaged meal that they can take with them. You'll see that the setup in here is pretty similar to what it was prior, but we are looking at about 60 students in the cafeteria at one point. We will have 3 lunches. And for students that choose to go outside, we will also give that as an option. Once again, looking to be socially distant. But as you can see, these tables are large enough. I believe they are 12-foot tables. And what we are looking to do is having 2 students facing one direction, only on one side. So there will be a 2-person capacity at a table, where we'll have somebody in the second seat and the second seat on the left and the right. That gives enough space in between, but also helps prevent students from being less than 6 feet at the edges where we are closer to the end tables there. Windows will be open. We will have appropriate supervision in here as well, but we do feel confident to have lunches in here. Students will be taking off their masks. They'll be holding onto their masks safely and appropriately. We do also have a couple options in the back where you see individual tables. So if students want to sit by themselves at a table, they can. Or we do have plenty of outside spaces in the courtyard. We'll have some tents set up there, but there's also picnic tables, plenty of picnic tables for having one person at a time. So this is another entryway that we will be talking about. This is the main entryway to the high school. This will be a bus drop-off and pickup only entryway. So students and staff members will not be parking here or dropping off. This again is something that we need to make sure that we're safe and consistent with. Students that get dropped off the bus will get off one at a time. They will maintain 6 feet social distancing. They will be going down these stairwells, or this stairwell, and we will be going into a lower door here Students will not be using the cafeteria or auditorium doors at this time. They will be taking a left and proceeding down into the lower B wing. So this is door 24. We are in the lower A, B area. But I'm feeling that majority of our students, our underclassmen, will be going through this entryway. Once again, these are students that are on the bus and are coming down through the lower A wing door into this main area. It does get tricky here because I know that some students are going to say, I have a Spanish class that's right across from where I am right now, but we are following the general traffic flow. Lower B is going towards Lincoln Street, so this will be a do not enter entry and exit. We are actually going up the stairs, across upper B, going down the stairs, and then coming through. Once again, we feel that safety is a priority. We like convenience, but at this point, safety and social distancing is going to be the expected norm. So we are going up the upper, I would call it the upper AB staircase right now, so that we can get into the upper B wing and to get into our classes if we have classes that are on the upper level. If we do have anything in the lower level, just please just understand that we're going to have to go upstairs in order to get back down to any of your lower B classes. So at this point, we will be walking into one of our academic classrooms. You'll notice that this is a typical classroom setup. We are following guidelines and we are extending on that. The minimum is 3 feet, but we are looking to go 6 feet in most of our classrooms. You'll notice that in this room, I believe there are 12 student desks, but we will have anywhere between 12 and 14 to be safely distant from one another. We also took a lot of our internal rooms. For those that know the building, we have air purifiers that will be in classrooms and in closed spaces, but we did move our teachers who had internal rooms into rooms that have windows for more ventilation. So you will notice that we are in rows. We're 6 feet apart from one another. Students will be assigned a seat, and students will be asked to be in that seat for class. So just as a reminder for students, when we're looking to be starting on day one and being prepared, we do want and request that all students have their Chromebooks. Staff members during PD have talked a lot about various apps for collaboration, whether it's Padlet and other apps that students can still collaborate but be socially distant. We received a grant to replace a lot of our water fountains and bubblers in the district buildings to water bottle filling stations. So right now we are in upper B wing. When students walk in, you'll see clearly one-way signs, do not enter signs, but there are arrows to remind folks about where we are in the building and in what direction we'll go in. Once you walk down to the classrooms that are at B213, you have a few options. We're hitting our C wing here, where students can go access the hallway on both sides. You will notice that there's arrows to the right of the hallway, and then we have arrows to the left. This is a hallway that's wider than our B wing, and there is more ventilation. We have windows that look out over the courtyard. So if we're in C wing, which is this is upper C, or lower C, this will be a two-way traffic flow for students and staff members. But please make sure that you are keeping socially distant and we're following the arrows on both sides. The other option for students that if you are in A wing and you end up in C, we can go down the lower stairwell. This is anything is possible stairwell. We're going downstairs, but you'll clearly see that there are signs indicating where you are. And our SRO, Dave Loudon, will be in there. So if any students are seeking assistance, he will be in the upper B C wing, highly visible when he's in the building. So once again, we are in the upper B C stairwell where we are going downstairs, and you'll notice what the traffic flow is here. If we are in upper B, you're going from Lincoln Street to closer to the middle of the building, and then we're going downstairs, and this is the opposite traffic flow. So it's one big circle when you think about upper and lower B. So when we're in the stairwells, you'll notice that there's these black dots that are in the middle of our stairwell. That is just a reminder for folks to know that we are still trying to stay 6 feet away from one another, even when we're going down the stairs. So students should not be getting any closer to that until that student crosses that dot. So you'll notice that while we're walking down. So we are now in lower B. We just went down the stairs. This option, or we have a few options that students can take. If you do have an art class, communications class, you can go into C Wing. So we take a right into C Wing, and once again, that's a two-way. But if you are looking to go down to your Spanish or math classes, this is the one way that's going closer to Lincoln Street. So we'll just proceed down here, and once again, this is the one-way cycle that we were talking about from upper B to lower C. We'll have a new procedure in terms of bathroom use. We will be having a maximum amount of students at a bathroom, and capacity would be 2. We are working on what that will look like at the high school in order to limit the amount of students that are coming down to the bathroom at one point to be socially distant as well. The elevator is used by students that have some sort of medical condition. We are only going to have one student in our elevator at a time. It is relatively small, so we want to make sure that students and staff are following the policies and procedures that we have. So we are back in the upper B wing. So we did our full loop of our building. Our custodians have done a tremendous job diagramming the building with Keith Ducharme, our assistant principal, and making sure that everything logistically will work for folks. I know it's not going to be super convenient, but once again, our values and priorities is the safety and well-being of all staff and students that are in the building. So with that in mind, and in closing, I wish you well. Looking forward to seeing students back in our building. It has been a long 6 months. I am eager to see you. I know your teachers are as well. And just a couple last remarks. Please stay safe. Think about how are you going to be preparing yourself for the first couple days of schools. If you can, self-quarantine for 14 days, that would be awesome. And that's what we'll be doing here as a school community. So we will see you soon. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Mike Dudek, or Keith Ducharme, and we will try to answer those questions as much as we can. Thanks.